The purpose of this video within this article on tax planning tips is to demonstrate the use of form filling software checklists as a tool to allow employees in accountancy practices and bookkeeping firms to do more complex things because of the ease of use of forms. This is Acrobat form filling software. It's very easy to use, and also just the amount of information that is available, particularly on the internet. So what's really happening here is a tax job's been done in a practice, the client's accounts are finished, and before the job's handed to the partner or sole practitioner or whatever, the accountant doing it, 1 or 2 year accountant, can do 1 or 2 things. They can stop thinking, or you can give them a form like this which has the potential to get them thinking about ideas as well as potentially finding something useful for the client. So just quickly showing this form, the name of the client would be entered, and really this is more of an example of what can be done. The employee name, and then there would be a date, so presumably the 30th of June on a particular year. Now the key issue now is on this form is that there's an ability to quickly ask questions. Now the questions that I've highlighted here are just a few of the ones that I've picked out. Every practice and every firm will have different areas. With bookkeeping, it might be concentrating more on the processing side, getting the trainee bookkeeper to think in more cleverly about what they've been doing. In this case, we're just concentrating on tax tips. So the question is superannuation and term deposits. Now, this is an article that I've attached on the site about this issue, but clearly this could be explained a little differently so it's clear to the graduate what you're going on about. But the thing is, there's 2 issues here. There's an attachment and then there's a yes or no. So you click here and you automatically get an attachment to what it is you're trying to do with this particular type of tax planning. The accountant of the practice presumably would have put this together, and the idea is to make this readily available to the employee of a practice so that they can quickly see, is this tax planning, is this relevant? In other words, does there exist an opportunity for this sort of tax planning for that client? Now, if that's the case and the employee comes to that conclusion, they might put a yes in here. Now, it would be up to the partner, sole practitioner, of course, to make the final decision, but at least they thought about that. Now, remember, what we're trying to do is get the employee thinking more cleverly. We're trying to teach them tax law. To answer this question, they have to read about it. They have to spend a few minutes, but at least they know these concepts. Now, accountants will have their own ideas. The point is your staff have a mechanism to both look at them. It's part of an electronic system, it's part of doing a job, so you'll get it with the job, and it helps them think. Changes to adjusted taxable income. We all know there are potential tax planning advantages to that. So again, clicking on this, and there's an article here or some notes that you would have written explaining those changes, how they can occur and how that can improve a tax position. If the junior graduate concerned thinks there's something in that, then they might put a yes there as well. Maximising Centrelink payments, same thing. Click there, get a link to an article. Again, may conclude that that is also relevant. So there might be a yes in there. Medicare surcharge reduction, some short notes on that. Again, these are just examples, and it might be the case that there's a no there. Now, there's nothing stopping this going on. I put here paying meal allowances, and this is where the internet really kicks in, because in this case, it's hyperlinking to a website. And one of the things about the internet is that there's an amazing amount of material. To me, there's that much information that accountants and other firms put out. Some of it's really good. You can then find a particularly good article and link it so that your reference point you don't have to rewrite. It will give you access to some clever tax planning that may be relevant. So in this case here, we'll just put that as a no. And another example here, and I've just put an etc. because the idea is you're creating your own fields. Click on this one, and there's an article written by a fellow I've never heard of, but it's particularly good, it seems. It's a very extensive summary of a whole pile of different tax planning strategies that you can use to potentially for your client. Now again, this highlights the way the internet works. A lot of people will put a lot of things online that are quite good. There are a lot of good accountants out there who do put information online. You can then search those websites and attach them to links like this so that your staff can access them, but also have a way of learning something and doing it efficiently. Now, in my view, this is a very, very simple way of allowing people, staff, to work with ideas. And they'll get in the habit of providing you with this information, so that part of doing a tax return for your staff is to think these issues through. It's not just compliance where it all ends with the bank rec and a tick off of the GST or whatever. And it gives you the opportunity to understand and talk to them about their ideas based on what you've created as the template. And again, in the bookkeeping area, there are a lot of things bookkeepers can do as well. And in my view, this is critical to the whole process of making work within public practice more interesting than a lot of firms seem to have established, particularly by concentrating too much on compliance, and accountancy then becomes repetitive and boring.